Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to talk about a very important movie. We're talking about Tenet. Now, why do I call Tenet an important movie? Well, way back in March, when the pandemic first started and movie theaters were shut down for an indefinite amount of time, plenty of movies that were supposed to be released in March, April, May, June, July, August, etc., pretty much said yeet and moved their release dates back. Some moved back a couple months, others moved back an entire year, and then some straight up said, screw theaters, we're going on premium video on demand. Trolls World Tour was the first to famously do this. And if you were interested in, learning more about that crazy time period, I have a playlist on the homepage, which I like to call the Canceled series. It's called Canceled 2020, 2021, 2022 movies, where I pretty much document all the delays and postponements in the movie industry. So if you're interested in seeing that, it's on the homepage. You can't miss it. But yeah, the future of movie theaters was looking very uncertain. A lot of people were convinced that they would just die out because who would want to take a risk going to a theater right now? But Tenet was different. Well, more specifically, Christopher Nolan was different. See, unlike many other movies that got out of there, Christopher Nolan said, no, this movie will be theatrical. This will be released in theaters, come hell or high water. This will be a theatrical experience. And so for the longest time, Tenet stuck to its July 17th release date. And, that release date was important because, in the past, other Christopher Nolan movies such as The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, Inception, Dunkirk, all opened in mid-July, all made tons of money. So it makes perfect sense why Tenet will have a similar release date. And, a lot of people were, having discussions about, will Tenet save movie theaters? Will Tenet be the movie that convinces the public to go to the movies again? A lot of people were talking about that. But not even Tenet was immune to, I think someone in the comments called it the release date shuffle. So I'm going to call it that. Not even Tenet was immune to the release date shuffle because it got moved back too, albeit not as severe. It got moved back 2 weeks to July 31st, and then another 2 weeks to August 12th, and then it was removed from the calendar entirely for a short amount of time until Warner Brothers officially said, okay, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to release Tenet in some overseas markets first, and then 1 week later, we're going to release it in the States, in select cities, as they said. And at the time, I thought this would be like a limited rollout because, there are plenty of movies that go limited and then go wide. But now I'm hearing that a lot of theaters are starting to reopen again. More theaters are reopening just in time for Tenet. So Tenet will have a wide release, which means I can make a proper box office prediction video because making a video on a movie that's opening a limited amount of theaters is very hard. It's the reason why I didn't do one on Bill and Ted 3. That and because it was also on premium video on demand. But now that Tenet is officially a wide release, I can now make a proper video about it. So just like other prediction videos, I'm going to go over the pros and the cons for Tenet. So here we go. Pros. The movie is directed by Christopher Nolan. If you know anything about movies, you should know who this dude is. This is the dude who saved Batman's reputation because Batman in the late 90s was not doing very hot when it came to his movies, particularly with Batman and Robin, and for the longest time the series was dead, but Christopher Nolan brought it back. He brought in realism and more a more adult drama aspect to Batman. And it was a huge success. It led to the Dark Knight trilogy, which is considered one of the best superhero trilogies ever. Although some people are a bit iffy on Dark Knight Rises, but I still think it's a fine movie, even with its plot holes and dumb moments. And then after that, Warner Brothers, they were like, "Hey, you can make your own movie now. We'll give you this big budget." And that movie was Inception. Inception was a massive hit, one of the biggest hits of 2010. It was loved by pretty much everyone who saw it. Huge hit. Made him a household name. The Dark Knight trilogy, Inception. Then he made Interstellar, which a lot of people don't like as much, but I still really like it. Which was, again, a huge hit. And then after that, he did Dunkirk, which, again, huge hit, loved by a lot of people. So Christopher Nolan has a very good reputation. He has a very good track record. There's a reason why In Nolan We Trust exists. That's because the dude has made quality stuff. And from the early reviews I've heard of Tenet, a lot of people are saying it is good, although it has a couple problems, like the plot can be a bit confusing and stuff. But for the most part, a lot of people are saying the movie is good. So, because of that, I feel like a decent amount of Christopher Nolan fans will want to watch it in a theater because Christopher Nolan himself has said that this is not a movie he wants you to see on like a laptop or a phone. He wants you to see it on the biggest screen possible in IMAX and stuff. So yeah, I think Christopher Nolan's brand name will help this movie. So yeah, that's pro number 1. I guess another pro is that it has good reviews, so that's pro number 2. Pro number 3 is that it has been so long since a blockbuster film has entered the market. I think the last time a blockbuster-esque film entered the market, I mean, you could say Onward, but I never saw much potential in that movie anyway. I think, Sonic and Bad Boys were supposed to be mid-level and then became big. I guess the last proper blockbuster to be released was Star Wars, way back in December. But even then, Star Wars was a bit of a disappointment. But still, it's been a very long time since a tentpole movie has been released. Because of that, I feel like there's a lot of pent-up demand to see a big movie. Because let's be real, Unhinged, that's a small movie. New Mutants was doomed very early on. That was a doomed project. But Tenet is something that people have been looking forward to for a very long time. Even back when the teaser trailer came out, a lot of people were hyped for this movie. And, pandemic or no pandemic, some people are going to watch it. So, yeah, I feel like, the lack of a blockbuster in the market will help. Pro number 4 is that this is pretty much the only big movie to come out in September. It has the whole month to itself, essentially. It won't have to worry about anything until Wonder Woman 1984, which coincidentally is also from Warner Brothers, so there's that. But yeah, Tenet has the whole month to itself. And the thing about Tenet is that it's not like the past, where a movie has to have a very large opening in order to survive. No, Warner Brothers is playing the long game. Like, I don't think they're expecting huge numbers opening weekend. What they are expecting is longevity. Like this movie to play out for a very long time. Kind of like how Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, The Greatest Showman, Frozen, how those movies all legged out for a very long time. I think they're expecting something like that with Tenet. So, yeah, another pro right there. Lack of competition. No, this is neither a pro or a con. But, I mean, the cast, although most people recognize Robert Pattinson because, Twilight, because everybody hates Twilight. And also because he's going to be the new Batman in The Batman coming out next year. So, I mean, he's in it, albeit, the main guy of the movie is John David Washington, son of Denzel Washington, who was also he was in Black Klansman, which a lot of people liked. But yeah, no one in the cast is a huge box office draw, but really, I don't think the cast is going to. I mean, it might for some people, but a lot of people aren't looking for. This movie's not going to succeed just on the cast. It's going to succeed on Christopher Nolan's name. That's just a fact. So yeah, the cast is kind of a non-issue. It's kind of a non-factor here. But cons. I'm going to keep on saying this, but COVID. You know, even after Unhinged and New Mutants came out, I bet still a large number of people are uncertain. They're worried about going to the theater because, again, movie theaters are still kind of a red zone because you're not supposed to be in big public events or like big public spaces with a ton of people. And I know movie theaters have these new safety protocols where they separate seating and you have to keep on wear your mask and blah 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 blah. I get that, but still, a lot of people aren't willing to take that risk, which I understand. Okay, nobody wants to get sick. Why would anybody want to get sick? If you're one of those people who wants to get sick, you need help. Something's not right with your head. So yeah, I feel if the pandemic never happened and the Tenet stuck to its original release date, it would have an opening probably bigger than Inception, I bet. But because of the pandemic, that's an impossibility. And the fact that this is opening on a Thursday makes it a little weird too, because as you know, most movies open on a Friday, some Wednesday, sometimes when there's a holiday involved, it can get very weird. But opening on a Thursday is a bit odd. So, I don't know. I don't know much about anything anymore when it comes to movies. Ugh. Alright, let's just get to opening weekend predictions. Opening weekend. Ooh, well, I do know it should open bigger than Unhinged and New Mutants. Bigger than both of them combined because Tenet is a far bigger deal than them. But yeah, this is where it gets hard. It gets very hard. If I had to guess, it's technically a 4-day, 5-day weekend because it's the Labor Day holiday. So we're counting like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I guess, I'll probably have like a moderate opening on Thursday and then it'll make more money over the weekend and they'll make a bit more on Monday. So for the 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm guessing this will open with 20 million. Maybe 20, 15 to 20 for the 3-day. If you add Thursday, that's probably a good $3 million-ish. And I know there's grosses from Canada that happened last weekend. They're going to be involved in the numbers. This is getting real confusing. You know what? Let me scratch all that off. I think for the 5-day weekend, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it'll open around 30 million total for the 5 days. That's what I'm guessing. But I could be wrong, because I've been wrong before. But, yeah, for those 5 days, I'm guessing 30 million. Maybe a bit higher than that, maybe a bit lower than that. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'm predicting. 30 million for the 5-day weekend. As for overall, that's a humongous question mark. I do think this movie will have legs, and it will probably at least make more than 100 million. It has to. It has to, because this movie's expensive. It's $224 million, not including advertising. Like, this better make money. Otherwise, this whole, you know, it was a then making this theatrical, or at least releasing it now, was the biggest mistake ever. Oh, I forgot another thing. When it opened internationally, it opened pretty decent. It opened around $53 million, which isn't bad considering all the restrictions and stuff. That's not too bad. So I think that might be a good omen for Tenet. But I'm guessing, I don't know, 120, 150 million, somewhere in that range for its total gross. Again, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how any movie's going to work now, because the pandemic has made everything impossible to predict. But yeah, that's my prediction. My prediction for Tenet. How do you think Tenet's gonna do? Do you think it's gonna save theaters? Do you think it's just gonna die out there? Let me know. Uh, I think for the rest of the month, it's pretty light. I mean, I know there's the Broken Hearts Gallery, which I'm not excited to talk about at all. There's Infidel. There's Greenland. There won't be anything remotely interesting until Wonder Woman. So, yeah. Yeah, September is going to be rough, to say the least. So, yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share, the whole drill. Want to check out more predictions? I have a playlist on the homepage. 2020 box office predictions. Have every prediction I've made for every 2020 movie. Pre-pandemic and current pandemic movies. Uh yeah, that's about it. So, yeah, make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and I already said that. I'm done. I'm out. Bye.